Imagine you're alone on a stormy night, rain pounding your windows like it's trying to break in. You're curled up with a book, but then a piercing scream cuts through the thunder. You rush to the window, heart racing, and see a figure in a rain-soaked coat collapse on the street, clutching a crumpled note. Lightning flashes, revealing a name scrawled in desperate ink. Jessica Fletcher. The figure's eyes meet yours, pleading before they go still. Who are they? Why Jessica's name? And what's that faint glint of a blade in the shadows? That's the chilling mystery we're diving into today in Jessica Fletcher, Deadly Lady. A tale of secrets, betrayal, and a killer who's closer than you think. Buckle up, because this story will grab you and not let go. Let's get started. Storm rages over Cabot Cove, Maine, turning the quiet coastal town into a maze of wind and water. Jessica Fletcher, our favorite mystery writer and amateur sleuth, is in her cozy kitchen, the kettle whistling as she pours tea. The rain drums on the roof, loud enough to drown out her thoughts, but not the sharp knock at her door. It's late too. Late for visitors, and Jessica's instincts tingle. She opens the door to find no one, just a soggy envelope on her doorstep, her name written in shaky, water-smeared ink. Her heart skips a beat. Cabot Cove is no stranger to mysteries, but this feels personal. She brings the envelope inside, the paper cold and damp, and opens it carefully. Inside is a single note. "Help me, Jessica. The lady is deadly. Meet me at the docks midnight." No signature, just a faint smudge that looks like a lipstick print bright red, like blood. Jessica's mind races. Who wrote this? And whose? The deadly lady? Jessica sets the note on her table, her tea forgotten. She's solved murders before, more than she'd like to count, but this note has a desperate edge that unsettles her. The docks at midnight. It's no place to be in a storm like this. She checks her clock. 10:30 p.m. There's time, but not much. She thinks back to a conversation at the local diner yesterday, where she overheard whispers about a stranger. In town, a woman in a red coat, seen arguing with a fisherman near the docks. Could she be the deadly lady? Jessica's not sure, but her gut tells her this is no prank. She grabs her raincoat and a flashlight, tucking the note into her pocket. Before heading out, she calls Sheriff Mort Metzger, leaving a message about her plans. "Just in case," she mutters. Knowing trouble has a way of finding her. The drive to the docks is treacherous, the rain blurring her windshield and the wind rocking her car. Cabot Cove's waterfront is usually bustling, but tonight it's a ghost town, the boats bobbing wildly in the choppy waves. Jessica parks near Pier 12, where the note implied she should go. The storm makes it hard to see, but her flashlight catches a glint of something metal, half buried in the mud near a crate. She kneels, rain soaking her, and pulls out a small silver locket, engraved with the initials E.M. Inside is a tiny photo of a woman with sharp eyes and a red-lipped smile. Jessica's breath catches. Is this the deadly lady? Before she can think, a shadow moves nearby, a figure in a red coat darting between crates. "Hello?" Jessica calls, her voice swallowed by the storm. The figure freezes, then vanishes into the rain, leaving behind a single red rose, its petals bruised and wet. Jessica picks up the rose, her heart pounding. The locket and the rose feel like clues, but to what? She scans the docks, her flashlight cutting through the rain, and spots a crumpled piece of paper caught in a fishing net. It's another note in the same shaky handwriting. "She knows you're here, run." Jessica's skin prickles. Whoever wrote this was here moments ago, and they're scared. She pockets the locket and the new note, her mind racing. The docks are too open, too dangerous in this storm. She heads back to her car, the rose's thorns pricking her hand. As she drives away, lightning flashes. She swears she sees the red-coated figure watching from the pier, motionless like a ghost. In the rain, this isn't just a mystery, it's a warning. Jessica's determined to find out why. That's chapter 1. Leaving Jessica with a locket, a rose, and a cryptic threat in the middle of a storm. Who's the deadly lady? What's she running from? And why is Jessica the target? Stay tuned for chapter 2, where things get even darker and the first clue points to a shocking secret. If you're hooked, and I bet you are, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next twist. Comment below. Who do you think the lady in the red coat is? Drop your guesses and let's unravel this mystery together. The storm hasn't let up as Jessica Fletcher speeds away from the Cabot Cove docks, her windshield wipers struggling against the relentless rain. Her heart is still racing from the encounter at Pier 12, the fleeting glimpse of a figure in a red coat, the silver locket engraved with EM, the bruised red rose, and the chilling note warning her to run. The first note, found on her doorstep, mentioned a deadly lady in a midnight meeting. But now Jessica's holding more questions than answers. The locket's tiny photo of a woman with sharp eyes and a red-lipped smile feels like a clue, staring back at her, and the initials EM tug at a memory she can't quite place. Whoever's behind this knows Jessica's reputation as a sleuth, and they're pulling her into a dangerous game. Welcome back to Jessica Fletcher, Deadly Lady, where the storm hides secrets, and every clue comes with a shadow. We're diving deeper into this mystery, so grab your umbrella and let's follow Jessica to the next twist. Ready? Here we go. Back. At her cozy Cabot Cove home, Jessica locks the door and double-checks the windows. The storms howl, making the house feel smaller, more vulnerable. She spreads her clues on the kitchen table. The two notes, the locket and the red rose, its petals still damp. The first note, "Help me, Jessica. The lady is deadly. Meet me at the docks." Midnight is written in shaky, desperate ink. The second, found in the fishing net, is even more urgent. "She knows you're here. Run." Jessica's fingers trace the locket's engraving EM, and she opens it again, studying the woman's face. There's something familiar about her, like a character from one of her novels, or a face from a forgotten case. She thinks back to the diner gossip about a woman in a red coat arguing with a fisherman. Could she be Im? And why leave a locket and a rose as clues? Jessica's no stranger to puzzles, but this one feels personal, like someone's testing her. She grabs her notebook, jotting down what she knows. A deadly lady. A meeting that never happened, a locket with a photo, and a warning to run. The rose bothers her most. Its thorns pricked her hand, and its bruised petals suggest it was dropped in a hurry. She examines it closely, noticing a faint trace of red lipstick on one petal, matching the smudge on the first note. Her pulse quickens. The lipstick is a signature, a deliberate clue. Jessica's mind flashes to a case she solved years ago involving a woman who left roses at crime scenes as a taunt. Could this be connected? She shakes her head, focusing on the locket, the initials EM, nag her, and she decides to call her friend Seth Hazlitt, Cabot Cove's doctor, who knows everyone in town. "Seth, ever hear of someone with the initials EM?" Jessica asks over the phone, keeping her voice calm, despite the storm's roar. Seth, groggy but curious, thinks for a moment. "It could be Evelyn Marsh," he says.
Ow.
"She lived here years ago, ran the old bookstore until she left town after, well, some trouble." Jessica's ears perk up. Trouble? Seth explains that Evelyn was involved in a scandalous love affair with a married fisherman that ended in a public fight. She disappeared a decade ago, but rumors say she's back, spotted. In a red coat? Jessica's heart races. Evelyn Marsh could be the woman in the locket, the deadly lady from the note. She thanks Seth and hangs up, her mind buzzing. The bookstore's long closed, but it's near the docks. Maybe a place to find more clues. Jessica grabs her raincoat, determined to check the bookstore, but not alone. She calls Sheriff Mort Metzger again, this time reaching him. "Mort, meet me at the old Marsh bookstore," she says. "Bring your flashlight."
Something's
not right. Mort grumbles about the weather, but agrees, knowing Jessica's hunches are rarely wrong. The drive to the bookstore is tense, the storm battering her car. The building, boarded up and weathered, looms in the rain, its sign barely readable. Mort's waiting, his cruiser parked out front. "Jess, this better be good," he says, but his eyes are sharp, ready for trouble. The front door is locked, but a side window is cracked open, rain pooling inside. Jessica spots another red rose wedged in the frame, its petals fresh despite the storm. Her skin prickles, This is no coincidence. They pry the window open and climb inside. The bookstore's air heavy with mildew and dust. Shelves are empty, but Jessica's flashlight catches something, a trail of muddy footprints leading to a back room. She follows Mort close behind, his hand on his gun. The room is small, cluttered with old boxes and a desk. On it sits a single book, its cover embossed with a rose. Jessica opens it, finding a hollowed-out compartment holding a letter and a photograph. The letter in the same shaky handwriting reads, "Evelyn was only the beginning. The deadly lady watches. Check the tides." The photograph shows Evelyn Marsh, older but unmistakable, standing with a man Jessica recognizes, Tom Carver, a local fisherman who vanished last month. Her stomach twists. Is Tom dead? Is Evelyn the killer? As Jessica examines the letter A, loud crash echoes from the front of the store. Mort spins, gun drawn, and Jessica's flashlight sweeps the shadows. Footsteps quick, deliberate go through the shelves. "Stay here," Mort whispers, moving toward the sound. Jessica is not one to sit still. She follows, clutching the letter and photo. In the main room, they find a broken shelf, books scattered, and another red rose on the floor, its lipstick smudged fresh. The window they entered is wide open now. Rain pouring in. Whoever was here is gone, but Jessica spots something glinting in the mess, of silver ring, engraved with TC, Tom Carver's initials. Her heart sinks. This is no game. Someone's leaving clues. And they're leading her deeper into danger. Jessica and Mort head back to the cruiser, the new clues in her bag. The storm's easing, but the mysteries. Growing darker, Evelyn Marsh, the deadly lady, is tied to Tom's disappearance. But who's leaving the roses? And what does check the tides mean? Jessica's determined to find out, but the shadow in the red coat feels closer than ever. As they drive away, she glances in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that figure again. The road is empty, but the chill in her bones says she's not alone. That's chapter 2. And the storm's only the start of the danger. Jessica's got a locket, a rose, a ring, and a name of Evelyn Marsh, but the deadly lady's shadow is closing in. What happened to Tom Carver? What's at the tides? Chapter 3's coming, and it's going to twist this mystery wide open. You're hooked, and I know you are. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss a single clue. Comment below. Is Evelyn the killer, or is someone framing her? Drop your theories and let's keep this mystery rolling. The rain has softened to a drizzle as Jessica Fletcher and Sheriff Mort Metzger drive away from the abandoned Marsh bookstore. But the storm in Jessica's mind rages on. Her bag holds a growing collection of clues, 2 cryptic notes warning. Of a deadly lady, a silver locket engraved with EM, containing a photo of a sharp-eyed woman, a bruised red rose with a lipstick smudge, a letter and photograph linking Evelyn Marsh to the missing fisherman Tom Carver, and a silver ring marked TC. The latest note found in a hollowed-out book. Mention check the tides, a phrase that gnaws at Jessica's instincts. Evelyn Marsh, the woman in the red coat from local gossip, seems to be the deadly lady, but the clues feel too deliberate, like someone's orchestrating a game to lure Jessica deeper. The shadowy figure at the docks and the bookstore's intruder suggests she's being watched, and the stakes are higher than ever. Welcome back to Jessica Fletcher, Deadly Lady, where the rain hides secrets and danger lurks in every shadow. With 7 chapters left to wrap this mystery, Jessica's about to dive into a truth that could sink her. Let's follow the tides and see where they lead. Ready? Here we go. Jessica's kitchen is a haven of warmth compared to the damp chill outside, but the clues spread across her table cast a cold shadow. The first note, "Help me, Jessica. Meet me at the docks." Midnight is crumpled but clear, its lipstick smudge matching the roses. The second note, "She knows you're here. Run," feels like a desperate plea. The locket's photo of Evelyn Marsh stares back at her, and the ring with TC confirms Tom Carver's involvement. The latest letter found in the bookstore ties it all together. Evelyn was only the beginning. The deadly lady watches. Check the tides. Jessica's mind races. The tides could mean the literal ocean tides at the docks, or something metaphorical, a turning point in the mystery. She recalls Tom Carver, a quiet fisherman who vanished last month after a boat was found adrift, its deck stained with blood. Was he the screamer from her hook's vision, collapsing with her name on a note? Jessica pulls out a nautical chart from her study, a habit from years of writing mysteries set in Cabot Cove's coastal world. The tides at the docks are strongest at dawn, in about 3 hours. Could that be where the note sender meant for her to go? She thinks back to the bookstore's photograph. Evelyn and Tom standing close, his face tense. Seth's story about Evelyn's scandal, a love affair with a married fisherman, nags at her. Was Tom that fisherman? And if Evelyn's back, why? Target Jessica. She decides to call Seth Hazlitt again, hoping for more on Evelyn. Seth, what else do you know about Evelyn Marsh's trouble? She asks. Seth sighs, his voice crackling over the phone. She was in love with Tom Carver, Jess. His wife Lila found out, and it got ugly. Public fights, threats. Lynn left town after Tom's boat went missing 10 years ago. Folks thought she was gone for good. Jessica's heart skips. Tom's disappearance last month wasn't his first. Could Evelyn be tied to both? Determined to follow the check the tides clue, Jessica convinces Mort to head back to the docks at dawn. This is crazy, Jess, Mort says, rubbing his eyes, but I know better than to argue. They agree to meet at Pier 12, where Jessica found the locket. She spends the hours before dawn studying the clues. The rose's lipstick smudge bothers her. It's too perfect, like a signature. She tests a hunch, dabbing the smudge with a tissue and comparing it to a lipstick tube from her desk. The shade is close, but not exact. Whoever left it wanted her to notice. The ring, heavy and worn, has a faint scratch inside a date. June 15th, 15. 10 years ago, the time of Tom's first disappearance? Jessica's gut says the ring is a message, maybe from Tom himself. But is he a victim or part of the game? At dawn, the docks are eerily quiet, the tide pulling out to reveal jagged rocks and tangled nets. Jessica and Mort arrive, flashlights sweeping the misty pier. The air smells of salt and seaweed, and the faint sound of dripping water echoes. Jessica heads to the spot where she found the locket, her eyes scanning for anything new. Near a piling, she spots a glint, a small metal box, half buried in the mud, engraved with a rose. Her pulse quickens. She pries it open, revealing a folded letter and a single pearl earring. The letter, in the same shaky handwriting, reads, "The tides wash away lies. Find her at the lighthouse. Beware the lady's blade." Jessica's breath catches. The lighthouse, Cabot Cove's crumbling beacons a mile down the coast, a place locals avoid. The earring feels personal, like something Evelyn might wear. Is she hiding there, or luring Jessica into a trap? Mort examines the box, frowning. This is getting out of hand, Jess. We need backup. But Jessica's already moving, her flashlight trained on the path to the lighthouse. We're close, Mort, she says. I can feel it. They trek along the rocky shore, the tide's low hum mixing with the crunch of their footsteps. The lighthouse looms ahead, its faded paint peeling like old skin, the doors ajar, creaking in the wind. Inside, the air is damp, the spiral staircase coated in dust. Jessica's flashlight catches a trail of red rose petals leading up. Her heart pounds. This is no coincidence. At the top, in the lantern room, she finds a small table with a photograph. Evelyn Marsh, it's older now, holding a knife, her red coat vivid against the lighthouse's gray walls. A note pinned to it reads, "The deadly lady waits below." Skin prickles. Below. The lighthouse has a basement, a flooded storage area locals call the pit. Mort grabs her arm. Jess, this is a trap. Let's call for help. But a soft laugh echoes from below, chillingly familiar. Jessica's mind flashes to the diner gossip, the woman in the red coat arguing with a fisherman. Could Evelyn be? Down there, waiting? She grips the locket, its weight grounding her, and heads for the stairs to the pit. Mort follows, his gun drawn. The basement is dark, water sloshing at their feet. Jessica's flashlight lands on a figure in a red coat, her back turned. Evelyn, Jessica calls. The figure turns, revealing a face not Evelyn's, but Lila Carver's, Tom's wife, her eyes wild and a knife in her hand. "You're too late, Jessica," Lila says. "The deadly lady's already won." That's chapter 3, and the tides turned this mystery upside down. Lila Carver, not Evelyn, is the woman in the red coat, but is she the deadly lady or another pawn? What's in the lighthouse's pit? And where's Tom?
Ow.
With 7 chapters left, the danger's just beginning. Stick around for chapter 4, where Jessica faces a blade and a truth that cuts deep. If you're hooked, and I know you are, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell to catch every twist. Comment below. Is Lila the killer, or is Evelyn still out there? Drop your theories and let's keep this mystery alive. The air in the lighthouse's flooded basement is cold and heavy, the slosh of water echoing off the stone walls as Jessica Fletcher stares at Lila Carver, Tom Carver's wife, standing before her in a red coat with a knife gleaming in her hand. Sheriff Mort Metzger's gun is raised, his voice steady but tense as he orders Lila to drop the weapon. The note pinned in the lantern room, "The deadly lady waits below," rings in Jessica's ears. But Lila's wild eyes in the revelation that she, not Evelyn Marsh, is the figure in the red coat, twist the mystery into a knot. Jessica's bag holds the clues that led her here. 2 cryptic notes, warning of a deadly lady. A silver locket with EM. And Evelyn's photo, a bruised red rose with a lipstick smudge. A letter and photograph tying Evelyn to Tom's disappearance. A silver ring marked TC. A metal box with a pearl earring, and a new note urging her to check the tides and find her at the lighthouse. The basement, known as the pit, feels like a trap, and Lila's words, "You're too late, Jessica. The deadly lady's already won," send a chill down her spine. Welcome back to Jessica Fletcher. Deadly lady, where the storm's fading, but the danger's rising. With 6 chapters left to solve this deadly puzzle, Jessica's about to face a truth that cuts like a blade. Let's dive into the pit and uncover what's next. Ready? Here we go. Jessica's heart pounds as she keeps her eyes on Lila, whose grip on the knife tightens, the blade catching the dim glow of Jessica's flashlight. The pit is ankle-deep in seawater, the walls slick with moss and the air thick with the smell of salt and decay. Mort steps forward, his voice sharp. "Lila, put it down." Now, but Lila's laugh is low, almost unhinged as she shakes her head. "You don't get it, Sheriff. This isn't about me. It's about her." Jessica's mind races. Her, Evelyn Marsh. The locket's photo and the diner gossip pointed to Evelyn as the deadly lady, but Lila's red coat and this confrontation suggest otherwise. Jessica takes a cautious step closer, her shoes splashing in the water. "Lila, who's the deadly lady?" she asks, keeping her tone calm like she's talking a friend off a ledge. Lila's eyes dart to the shadows, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Evelyn, she ruined everything. But I fixed it. I made sure she'd never come back." Jessica's stomach twists. Fixed it. Her mind flashes to Tom Carver's disappearances. Boat found adrift last month? Blood on the deck? The ring marked TC, the date June 15th, 15. Inside it, connected Tom's first disappearance 10 years ago, when Evelyn's affair with him tore his marriage apart. Jessica clutches the locket in her pocket, its EM engraving a burning question. "Lila, where's Tom?" she asks. Lila's face hardens, and she points the knife at Jessica. "Tom's gone because of her. Evelyn came back, stirring up old wounds. I had to stop her." Mort edges closer, but Jessica signals him to hold back. She needs answers, and Lila's. On the edge of spilling them, "Did you write the notes?" Jessica asks. Lila's eyes flicker, and she shakes her head. "Not me. Someone else knew. Someone who wanted you here." Jessica's skin prickles. Someone else. The figure in the red coat she saw at the docks, was it Lila or another player in this game? The pit feels smaller now, the walls closing in as Jessica pieces it together. The notes, the rose, the locket, they're too deliberate, like breadcrumbs. Leading her to this moment, she thinks back to the bookstore's photograph, Evelyn and Tom, his face tense. Was someone else there, watching? Jessica's about to press Lila when a loud creak echoes from above, followed by the sound of footsteps on the spiral staircase. Mort spins, gun trained on the entrance. "Who's there?" calls. No answer, but the footsteps stop, and a shadow stretches across the wall, a tall figure motionless. Jessica's heart races. It's the same silhouette she saw at the docks in the bookstore. Lila's eyes widen, and she whispers, "They're here." Before Jessica can react, Lila bolts toward a rusted hatch in the corner, splashing through the water. Mort shouts for her to stop, but she's gone, the hatch slamming shut behind her. Jessica and Mort rush to the hatch, but it's locked, a heavy padlock securing it. Jessica's flashlight sweeps the pit, landing on something floating in the water, a red scarf, identical to the one Lila was wearing, but torn and stained with what looks like blood. Jessica's breath catches. Is it Tom's or Evelyn's? She wades over, careful not to slip, and retrieves the scarf, noticing a small key tied to it with a ribbon. It's engraved with a rose, matching the clues she's been finding. Her mind races. The key must open something in the lighthouse. Mort's still at the hatch, trying to pry it open. But Jessica's attention shifts to a stack of crates in the corner, half submerged. One crate has a rose carved into it, barely visible. She pulls it open, revealing a sealed envelope and a small leather-bound diary. The envelope, in the same shaky handwriting, reads, "The tides reveal the truth, as the lady's secret lies." With the dead, Jessica's hands tremble as she opens the diary. It's Evelyn's, dated from 10 years ago to last month. The entries detail her affair with Tom, her guilt over breaking his marriage, and her decision to leave Cabot Cove after. His boat vanished in 2015, but the final entry, written weeks ago, chills Jessica. "I'm back. Someone knows what I did. They're leaving roses, watching me. Tom's alive, but he's not the same. I'm sorry, Jessica." Jessica's mind reels. Tom's alive? And Evelyn knew Jessica would be involved? The envelope contains a photograph. Gaunt and bearded, standing on a boat with a woman in a red coat. Not Lila, but Evelyn. Jessica's heart sinks. The blood on the boat, the ring, the scarves. Someone's tying these clues together, and Evelyn's at the center. But who's leaving them? Mort finally gets the hatch open, revealing a tunnel leading to the shore. "Lila's long gone," he says, frustrated. Jessica shows him the diary and photo, her voice steady despite the shock. "Evelyn's alive, Mort, and so is Tom. But someone wants me to think otherwise." Mort frowns, scanning the pit. "This is a setup, Jess. We need to find them both." Jessica nods, pocketing the key, diary, and envelope. The notes mention of the dead nags at her. The lighthouse is isolated, but there's an old fisherman's shack nearby, rumored to be haunted after a drowning years ago. Could that be where the dead are? Jessica's instincts scream to check it, but the shadow on the stairs lingers in her mind. Someone's still watching, and they're close, as they climb back to the lantern room. Jessica notices another rose petal on the stairs, fresh and lipstick smudged. Her pulse quickens. Whoever's leaving these is here now. It's outside the dawn. Is breaking, the drizzle fading to a mist. Mort radios for backup, but Jessica's already moving toward the shack, the key in her hand. The shack's door is ajar, and inside, she finds a single candle burning, its flame flickering. On the floor lies another note. "The deadly lady's secret is buried. Dig deep." Jessica's heart pounds. Buried, the shack's floor is dirt, soft from the rain. She grabs a rusty shovel, leaning against the wall, ready to dig, but Mort grabs her arm. "Jess. Wait, this feels wrong." Before she can answer, a shadow moves outside a figure in a red coat, vanishing into the mist. That's chapter 4, and the mystery is tighter than ever. Lila's on the run, Evelyn's alive, and Tom's out there, but someone's playing a deadly game with Jessica. What's buried in the shack? Who's the figure in the mist? With 6 chapters left, the truth's about to surface. Stick around for chapter 5, where Jessica digs up a secret that changes everything. If you're hooked, and I know you are, smash That like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell to catch every heart-pounding moment. Comment below. Is Evelyn the deadly lady, or is Lila hiding more? Drop your theories, and let's keep this mystery rolling. Jessica Fletcher stands in the dim, musty fisherman's shack near the Cabot Cove lighthouse, a rusty shovel in her hands and a cryptic note at her feet that reads, "The deadly lady's secret is buried. Dig deep." A flickering candle on. The floor casts eerie shadows, and the glimpse of a figure in a red coat vanishing into the mist outside has her heart racing. Sheriff Amos Tupper, standing by the door with his gun drawn, scans the foggy shoreline, his face tense. Jessica's backpack is heavy with clues. 2 notes warning of a deadly lady, a locket engraved EM with Evelyn Marsh's photo, a bruised red rose with a lipstick smudge, a letter and photo linking Evelyn to Tom Carver, a ring marked TC, a metal box with a pearl earring, a blood-stained scarf, a diary revealing Evelyn's return, and a key with a rose emblem. Lila Carver's knife-wielding confrontation in the lighthouse's pit and her claim that Evelyn ruined everything point to a tangled web of betrayal. But Evelyn's diary suggests Tom is alive and someone else is orchestrating this deadly game. With only 5 chapters left to unravel, Jessica Fletcher, deadly lady, the mist, hides a killer, and Jessica's about to dig up a truth that could bury her. Let's dive into the dirt and see what's hidden. Ready? Here we go. The shacks. Dirt floor is soft from the recent storm, and Jessica's shovel bites into it easily, each scoop echoing in the cramped space. Amos shifts uneasily, his flashlight sweeping the room. "Jess, this don't sit right," he says, his voice low. "That figure out there could be back any second." Jessica nods, her arms burning, but her focus razor sharp. Right. The note's words buried. And dig deep. Feel literal. But her writer's instincts scream, there's more to it. She thinks of Evelyn's diary, its final entry, confessing her return to Cabot Cove, in fear of someone leaving roses. The photograph of Tom, gaunt and bearded on a boat with Evelyn, suggests he's alive. But the blood on the lighthouse's scarf and the ring marked TC hint at violence. Was Tom buried here, or something else? Jessica's shovel hits. Something solid, a wooden box, its lid carved with a rose, just like the clues she's been finding. Jessica kneels, brushing dirt from the box, her heart pounding. It's locked, but the rose-shaped key fits perfectly, turning with a soft click. Inside, she finds a bundle of letters tied with red ribbon, a small vial of red liquid, and a faded newspaper clipping. The letters are in Evelyn's handwriting, dated from 10 years ago, detailing her affair with Tom and a desperate plan to run away together. One letter stands out. Tom's wife knows. "She threatened me. If we don't leave, she'll kill us both." Jessica's stomach twists. Lila Weaver, Tom's wife, confronted Jessica in the pit, blaming Evelyn for ruining her life. Could Lila have written the notes to lure Jessica here, framing Evelyn as the deadly lady? The vial's liquid looks like blood, but Jessica suspects. It's another staged clue, like the lipstick on the roses. Clipping, from 2015, reports Tom's boat vanishing, with speculation of foul play. A handwritten note on it reads, "The truth is buried with him." Amos peers over her shoulder, frowning. "Jess, this looks like a setup. Lila's out there and she's got a knife." Jessica nods, but her mind's on the letters. They mention a safe haven where Evelyn and Tom plan to hide, a boatyard near the docks owned by Tom's uncle. Jessica knows it. Carver's boatyard, now abandoned but close to Pier 12. Could Tom be there? Alive? Or is Evelyn hiding, leaving clues to expose Lila? Jessica pockets the letters vial and clipping, her mind racing. The note's mention of buried could mean more than the box, maybe a secret or a body. She's about to suggest searching the boatyard when a loud creak comes from outside, like a board breaking underfoot. Amos spins, gun raised. "Stay low, Jess," he whispers, moving toward the door. Jessica's flashlight sweeps the shack. Catching a glint near the candler's silver bracelet dropped in the dirt, engraved with LW, her pulse quickens. Lila Weaver. She picks it up, noticing a faint smear of red lipstick on it, matching the rose's smudge. Lila was here, maybe. Watching them dig? Jessica's mind flashes to the figure in the red coat, Lila, not Evelyn, playing a deadly game. But why leave clues pointing to herself? She taunting Jessica? Or is someone else framing her? Amos signals from the door, his face grim. Avoids footprints in the mud leading to the dock, he says. Someone's close. Jessica's ready to follow, but she hesitates, thinking of the boatyard. The letter suggests it's the next step, but the bracelet and the note feel like a trap. She decides to split their efforts. Amos, check the dock, she says. I'll head to Carver's boatyard. Call for backup. Amos protests, but Jessica's already moving, her flashlight cutting through the mist as she heads for her car. The boatyard is a short drive, its rusted gates sagging in the dawn light. The air smells of oil and seaweed, and the hulks of old boats loom like ghosts. Jessica's shoes crunch on gravel as she approaches a shed-marked Carver, its door. Ajar inside, the air is stale, and her flashlight lands on a workbench covered in fishing gear and another red rose, fresh, with a lipstick smudge. Her heart skips. Someone's been here. She searches, finding a hidden compartment under the bench, containing a single photograph. Tom Weaver, alive but haggard, tied to a chair in what looks like a boat's cabin. A note pinned to it reads, "The deadly lady's secret lives. Find him before the tide rises." Jessica's breath catches. Tom's alive but in danger. The note's mention of the tide rising points to the dock's high tides in 2 hours, flooding low-lying boats. She thinks of Pier 12 where this all started. Could Tom be on a boat there? She's about to call Amos when a shadow moves outside. The shed a figure in a red coat, holding something that glints. Jessica ducks behind the workbench, her heart pounding. The figure pauses, then tosses a cigarette butt into the shed, its gold band catching the light. Jessica's mind races not a cigarette, but a lighter, its flame flickering. The figure vanishes, and the smell of gasoline hits her. The shed's floor is slick with it. Jessica scrambles out, coughing as flames lick the walls. She runs to her car, the fire spreading fast. The photograph and note clutched in her hand. In her car, Jessica speeds toward the dock, calling Amos. Tom's alive. Amos, on a boat at Pier 12, Lila's setting traps. She tried to burn me out. Amos confirms he's found nothing at the dock, but is heading to Pier 12 with backup. Jessica's mind is a storm.
I lost bracelet.
The lighter, the gasoline Lila's, not just running.
Nice.
She's escalating. But the notes, the roses, the lockets, someone else is leaving them, guiding Jessica to Tom, Evelyn, or another player. As she nears the dock, the mist swirls, and she spots a boat rocking at Pier 12. Its name faded but readable, Red Rose. Her heart pounds. This is it, the deadly lady's secret, waiting to be uncovered. That's Chapter 5, and the mystery's burning hotter than ever. Jessica's found Tom's trail, but Lila's playing with fire, and someone's still pulling the strings. Is Tom on the Red Rose? Who's leaving the clues? With 5 chapters left, the tide's rising fast. Stick around for Chapter 6, where Jessica boards the boat and faces a truth that could drown her. If you're hooked, and I know you are, smash that like button. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to catch every heart-pounding twist. Comment below, is Lila the mastermind, or is Evelyn behind it all? Drop your theories and let's keep this mystery alive. Jessica Fletcher's car skids to a stop at Pier 12. The Cabot Cove docks shrouded in a thinning mist as the tide creeps higher. Her heart pounds from the narrow escape at Carver's boatyard, where a lighter tossed by a figure in a red coat ignited a gasoline-soaked shed, nearly trapping her in flames. Clutched in her hand is a photograph of Tom Weaver, alive but bound in a boat's cabin with a note pinned to it. The deadly lady's secret lives. Find him before the tide rises. Her bag is heavy with clues, 2 notes warning of a deadly lady, a locket with EM, and Evelyn Marsh's photo, a red rose with a lipstick smudge. A letter and photo tying Evelyn to Tom, a ring marked TC, a pearl earring. A blood-stained scarf, Evelyn's diary, a buried box with letters and a vial of red liquid, a newspaper. Clipping a silver bracelet engraved LW, and a rose-carved key. Lila Weaver's knife-wielding confrontation in the lighthouses pit, and her attempt to burn the boatyard point to her as a deadly threat, but the deliberate Clujos's notes and photos suggest someone else, perhaps Evelyn, is guiding Jessica to save Tom. With Sheriff Amos Tupper racing to the dock with backup, and only 4 chapters left in Jessica Fletcher, Deadly Lady. The rising tide threatens to drown the truth. Let's board the Red Rose and see what's waiting. Ready? Here we go. Jessica steps onto the dock, the Red Rose bobbing violently as the tide surges, its hull creaking against the pier. The boat's name, painted in peeling red letters, feels like a taunt, echoing the roses left at every turn. Her flashlight cuts through the mist, revealing a padlock on the cabin door, engraved with a rose. Another match for the key she found in the lighthouse's pit. Her hands shake as she inserts the key, the lock clicking open with a soft snap. Amos's voice crackles over her phone, confirming he's minutes away with deputies, but Jessica can't wait. The note's warning before the tide rises means Tom's life is on the line, and high tides in less than an hour. She steps into the cabin, the air damp and sour, her flashlight sweeping across a cluttered space. Fishing nets, ropes, and a small table with a single red rose, lipstick smudged petals fresh. Her heart skips as she spots a trapdoor in the floor, partially covered by a tarp. She pulls it open, revealing a narrow ladder leading to a lower hold. The sound of water sloshing below sends a chill down her spine. Flooding is a real risk as the tide climbs. Jessica descends, her shoes slipping on the rungs, and lands in a cramped, dark space, ankle-deep in seawater. Her flashlight lands on a figure slumped against the Waltham Weaver, bound with rope, his face bruised but alive. "Tom," Jessica whispers, rushing to him. His eyes flutter open, confused but relieved. "Jessica, how'd you find me?" he mumbles. She works at the ropes, her fingers fumbling in the cold. "Who did this?" she asks. Tom's voice is weak. "Lila and someone else. They kept me here, said it was for Evelyn." Jessica's mind races. Lila and someone else? Evelyn's diary mentioned her fear of someone leaving roses, and the photograph showed her with Tom on a boat, likely this one. As she frees Tom's hands, her flashlight catches a glint on the Flora gold necklace with a pendant engraved. Her stomach twists. Evelyn was here, or someone wants her to think so. She pockets the necklace, helping Tom to his feet, but he's weak, barely able to stand. The water's rising, now shin-deep, and the hold feels like a coffin. Jessica's about to guide Tom to the ladder when a loud thud echoes from above the cabin door slamming shut. Her heart lurches. "Someone's on the boat," she calls out Amos. But there's no answer, just the creak of footsteps on the deck. Jessica's instincts kick in. She props Tom against the wall and climbs the ladder, pushing at the trapdoor. It's locked from above, a heavy weight holding it down. Her flashlight reveals a small vent in the hold's wall, barely wide enough to crawl through, leading to the boat's exterior. It's a risk, but with the water rising and someone trapping them, it's their only shot. She helps Tom back down, explaining the plan. "We'll get out through the vent," she says, her voice steady, despite the fear clawing at her. Tom nods, his strength fading. Jessica wedges the vent open, the rusted metal groaning, and peers out. The dock is empty, but the mist swirls, and a shadow moves near the pier, a figure in a red coat, holding a knife that glints in the dawn light. Her breath catches Lila, or Evelyn. Jessica crawls through the vent, scraping her arms on the jagged edges, and pulls Tom after her, his weight heavy but manageable. They emerge on the boat's deck, gasping in the cold air. The Red Rose rocks as the tide surges, and Jessica spots another clue, a crumpled note taped to the railing. In the same shaky handwriting, "The Deadly Lady's heart is broken. Find her where the roses bloom." She pockets it, her mind spinning. Roses bloom. The town's rose garden, near the docks, is a local landmark. Could Evelyn be there, or is it another trap? Before she can think, a loud crack splits the air, a gunshot from the pier. Jessica ducks, shielding Tom, and sees Amos running toward them, deputies behind him, firing at a figure sprinting into the mist. The red coat vanishes, but a red rose falls to the dock, its lipstick smudge bright. Amos reaches the boat, helping Jessica and Tom off. "You okay, Jess?" he asks, his face pale. She nods, handing Tom to a deputy who calls for medics. "It was Lila, or someone in her coat," she says, showing Amos the note. He frowns, scanning the dock. "We'll sweep the area," but she's slippery. Jessica's mind is on the rose garden. The note's mention of a broken heart feels personal, tied to Evelyn's affair and Lila's rage. She thinks of the locket, the necklace, the bracelet clues, pointing to both women. Evelyn's diary confessed her guilt, but Lila's actions scream vengeance. Jessica is sure the garden holds answers, but the gunshot and the figure's escape mean the deadly lady's still out there. And she's not done. As medics tend to Tom, Jessica sits in Amos's cruiser, the new note in her hand. Tom's safe, but weak, and his words Lila and someone else suggest a bigger player. The necklace is EM. Its engraving matches the locket, but the vial of red liquid from the buried box nags at her. Is it blood or a symbol? She needs to test. It and the rose garden's her next stop. The mist is lifting, but the danger is thicker than ever. Jessica glances at the dock, where deputies comb for clues, and spots another cigarette butt gold banded, like the lighter at the boatyard. Her heart races. Someone's leaving a trail, and it's leading her straight to the deadly lady. That's Chapter 6. And the tides brought Jessica closer to the truth, but the deadly lady's still at large. Tom's alive, but Lila's not alone, and the rose garden holds the next clue. Who fired the shot? What's in the garden? With 4 chapters left, the mystery's about to bloom. Stick around for Chapter 7, where Jessica faces a heartbreaking secret. If you're hooked, and I know you are, smash that like button. Hit subscribe, and ring the bell to catch every twist. Comment below. Is Evelyn helping Jessica, or is Lila the only deadly lady? Drop your theories and let's keep this mystery rolling. The morning mist lingers over Cabot Cove as Jessica Fletcher sits in Sheriff Amos's Tupper's cruiser, her hands gripping the latest note. The deadly lady's heart is broken. Find her where the roses bloom. The words burn in her mind, pointing to the town's rose garden, a quiet haven near the docks, now heavy with menace. Her bag is stuffed with clues from a deadly trail, 2 notes warning of a deadly lady, a locket engraved EM. With Evelyn Marsh's photo, a red rose with a lipstick smudge, a letter and photo tying Evelyn to Tom Weaver, a ring marked TC, a pearl earring, a bloodstained scarf, Evelyn's diary, a buried box with letters, and a vial of red liquid. A newspaper clipping, a silver bracelet engraved LW, gold-banded cigarette butt, and a photograph of Tom, bound but alive on the Red Rose boat. Tom's rescue from the boat's hold, Lila Weaver's knife-wielding threats in the lighthouses pit, and the gunshot fired at a fleeing figure in a red coat have raised the stakes. Lila's involved, but Tom's words, Lila and someone else, and the gold-banded lighter from the boatyard fire suggest a deeper conspiracy. With only 3 chapters left in Jessica Fletcher, Deadly Lady, Jessica's heading to the rose garden to face a truth that could break her. Let's step into the thorns and uncover the lies. Ready, here we go. Jessica's shoes crunch on the gravel path leading to the rose garden, the air sweet with the scent of blooms, but heavy with the weight of danger. Amos follows close, his gun holstered but his hand ready, deputies fanning out to secure the area. The garden is a maze of rose bushes, their red and white petals vivid against the fading mist. Jessica's heart races as she recalls the note's words. The deadly lady's heart is broken. Evelyn's diary confessed her guilt over her affair with Tom, and Lila's rage in the lighthouse pit pointed to a woman scorned. But the clues roses. Lipstick, jewelry, feel too deliberate, like someone's weaving a story for Jessica to follow. She scans the garden, her flashlight catching a glint near a stone bench, a red lipstick tube, half buried in the dirt, its cap engraved with a rose. Her pulse quickens. This is no accident. Jessica picks up the lipstick, noticing it matches the smudge on the roses and notes. She opens it, finding a tiny rolled-up paper inside, written in the same shaky handwriting. The heart breaks at the fountain. She waits. Jessica's eyes dart to the garden's center where a small fountain bubbles, surrounded by red roses. Amos frowns, his voice low. Jess, this is another setup. Stay sharp, she nods, moving toward the fountain, her bag heavy with clues. The fountain's base is carved with roses, and at its edge lies a single white rose. Its petals smeared with red not lipstick, but blood. Jessica's stomach twists. She kneels, spotting a small metal box tucked under the fountain's rim, engraved with EM. Ash. Her hands tremble as she uses the rose-carved key to open it. Inside is a locket identical to the first, but its photo shows Lila Weaver, her face younger, smiling beside Tom. Jessica's mind reels. Lila? Not Evelyn? In the locket? The clues are twisting Evelyn's diary, the EM, initials. The photos all pointed to her, but Lila's bracelet and her. Attack in the Pit suggests she's the deadly lady. Jessica opens the locket, finding a folded note. The lady's heart broke 10 years ago. She buried it here. Her heart skips. 10 years ago, Tom's first disappearance, the affair with Evelyn, the scandal that drove Evelyn away. Jessica thinks of the newspaper clipping, the buried letters confessing Evelyn's fear of Lila's threats. Was Lila leaving these clues to frame Evelyn? Or is someone framing Lila? Amu scans the garden, his voice tense. Jess, we're not alone. A rustle comes from the bushes, and Jessica's flashlight catches a flash of red coat, moving fast. Jessica's instincts kick in. Amos, over there, she shouts, pointing to the bushes. Amos and a deputy sprint after the figure, but Jessica stays by the fountain, her eyes on the white rose. Its blood smear feels fresh, too fresh. She searches the area, finding a hidden compartment in the fountain's base, sealed with a lock. The rose key fits, revealing a small leather pouch. Inside is a blood-stained fishing knife and a letter, this one in neat. It's unfamiliar handwriting. The deadly lady's heart is vengeance. Evelyn took everything. Find her at the old pier before the tide takes her. Jessica's breath catches. The old pier, Pier 7, abandoned and half-submerged at high tide, is a death trap. The tide's rising now, due to peak in 30 minutes. Evelyn's there, alive, but in danger. Amos returns, panting. Lost M in the mist, Jess. Redcoat, just like you said. Jessica shows him the knife and letter, her voice steady but urgent. Evelyn's at Pier 7, Amos. We need to move. Amos radios for more deputies, but Jessica's already heading to the cruiser, the pouch in her bag. The knife's blood matches the scarf stains and the vial of red liquid from. The buried box nags at her. She needs to test it. Seth Hazlitt could confirm if it's blood, but there's no time. The letter's neat handwriting doesn't match the shaky notes, suggesting another player. Lila's running, but someone else is leaving clues guiding. Jessica, to Evelyn. Is it Tom? Trying to save her, or a trap to finish them all? At Pier 7, the old pier creaks under the rising tide, waves crashing against rotting wood. Jessica's flashlight sweeps the area, landing on a small boat tied to a piling, its deck slick with water. A figure lies slumped inside Evelyn Marsh, bound and gagged, her red coat torn. Jessica rushes forward, Amos covering her, and unties Evelyn, who's weak but conscious. Jessica, Lila did this, Evelyn whispers. She blamed me for Tom, for everything. Jessica helps her to the pier, but a loud splash stops her. Another figure emerges from the water, a man, not Tom, holding a gun. You're too good. Mrs. Fletcher, he says, his voice cold. It's Carl Weaver, Tom's uncle, and the boatyard's owner, his coat dripping. Lila was my pawn, but you're the real prize. Jessica's heart lurches. Carl? The clues, the roses, the fire, he's been orchestrating it all. Amos aims his gun, shouting for Carl to drop his weapon, but Carl's faster, firing a shot that grazes Amos's arm. Jessica ducks, pulling Evelyn behind a piling, her mind racing. Carl's the someone else, Tom mentioned, using Lila's rage to frame Evelyn and lure Jessica into his game. The gold-banded lighter, the neat handwriting, it's his signature. Deputies swarm the pier, their shouts cutting through the waves. and Carl bolts, diving into the water. Jessica's sure he's not gone for good. She helps Evelyn to safety, Amos clutching his arm but stable. The tide's peaking and the boat's sinking, but Evelyn's alive. And Jessica's got a new name to chase. That's Chapter 7, and the garden's lies have bloomed into a deadly truth. Carl Weaver's the mastermind, but Lila's still out there, and Evelyn's barely safe. What's Carl's motive? Can Jessica stop him before the tide takes more? With 3 chapters left, the end game's near. Stick around for Chapter 8, where a shocking betrayal cuts deep. If you're hooked, and I know you are, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell to catch every twist. Comment below, why is Carl targeting Jessica? Is Lila his pawn or his partner? Drop your theories, and let's keep this mystery rolling. The waves crash against the rotting timbers of Pier 7 as Jessica Fletcher helps Evelyn Marsh to safety. The rescued woman trembling in her torn red coat. Sheriff Amos Tupper clutches his grazed arm, blood seeping through his sleeve, as deputies swarm the old pier, their flashlights cutting through the fading mist. Carl Weaver, Tom's uncle and the boatyard's owner, just revealed himself as the mastermind, his gunshot and chilling words, "You're the real prize." Mrs. Fletcher, confirming he's been orchestrating this deadly game. Bag is heavy with clues, 2 notes warning of a deadly lady, a locket with EM, and Evelyn's photo, a red rose with a lipstick smudge, a letter and photo tying Evelyn to Tom, a ring marked TC, a pearl earring, a blood-stained scarf, Evelyn's diary, a buried box with letters and a vial of red liquid, a newspaper clipping, a silver bracelet engraved LWA, a gold-banded cigarette butt, a photograph of Tom bound on the red rose, a lipstick tube, with a hidden note, a second locket with Lila's photo, and a blood-stained fishing knife. Lila's rage, Evelyn's fear, and Tom's rescue point to a tangled web of vengeance. But Carl's involvement, his gold-banded lighter, neat handwriting, and calculated traps reveals a deeper motive. With only 2 chapters left in Jessica Fletcher, deadly lady, the tide's turning, and Jessica's one move from checkmateur, a trap. Let's chase the mastermind and uncover his game. Ready? Here we go. Jessica steadies Evelyn as medics arrive, wrapping her in a blanket. Most patched up but grim, coordinates the deputy's search for Carl, who vanished into the water after his shot. Jessica's mind races, piecing together the clues. Carl's words, "You're the real prize," echo, suggesting she's been the target all along. The notes, roses, and jewelry were breadcrumbs, leading her from the docks to the lighthouse to the rose garden, each step drawing her closer to his trap. Evelyn's diary confessed her affair with Tom in fear of Lila's threats. But Carl's role explains the deliberate clues, the gold-banded lighter at the boatyard fire, the neat handwriting on the latest note, the gun he wielded, Jessica suspects. Carl used Lila's rage to frame Evelyn, making her seem the deadly lady to lure Jessica into exposing his plan. But why her? And what's his endgame? Jessica sits in Amos's cruiser, spreading the clues on the seat. The second locket, with Lila's photo, throws her why mimic Evelyn's initials. She examines the fishing knife, its blood matching the scarf's stains. The vial of red liquid untested nags at her. Seth Hazlitt could confirm. If it's blood, but time's short. The latest note, the deadly lady's heart is vengeance. Evelyn took everything. Find her at the old pier was in Carl's neat handwriting, not the shaky script of earlier notes. Jessica's gut says Carl wrote it to ensure she'd find Evelyn, but his motive remains murky. She recalls the newspaper clipping from 2015. Reporting, Tom's first disappearance, and Evelyn's diary mentioning a safe haven at the boatyard, Carl's domain. Was Carl involved 10 years ago, too? Jessica's eyes land on the gold-banded cigarette butt, its snake emblem matching the lighter. It's Carl's signature, a taunt she's missed until now. Amos climbs into the cruiser, his arm bandaged. No sign of Carl, Jess, but we found another rose on the pier, lipstick and all. Jessica's heart skips, another clue left after. Carl's escape. She shows Amos the clues, focusing on the boatyard. Carl's tied to everything: Tom's disappearance, the fire, the notes. We need to search his boatyard again. Amos nods, radioing deputies to meet them there. Evelyn, now in an ambulance, grabs Jessica's arm. Carl knew about me and Tom, she whispers. He wanted revenge, said we ruined his family. He's not done. Jessica's mind flashes to Carl's boatyard, a place of secrets. The photograph of Tom, bound in a boat's cabin, was taken somewhere, maybe not the Red Rose, but another of Carl's boats, at Carver's boatyard. The rusted gates creak as Jessica and Amos approach, deputies fanning out. The fire from the shed has been doused, but the smell of charred wood lingers. Jessica heads to the main warehouse, her flashlight sweeping across boats in dry dock. One, a small trawler named Serpent's Heart, catches her eye. Another snake. Reference. The cabin door is unlocked, and inside she finds a desk cluttered with papers, a red rose, and a gold-banded lighter. Her pulse quickens. A hidden drawer reveals a ledger, its pages listing payments to L.W. Weaver dated from 10 years ago to last week. Jessica's stomach twists. Carl was paying Lila, likely to fuel her vendetta against Evelyn. A photograph tucked in the ledger shows Carl and Lila standing on a boat with Tom, unconscious, 10 years ago. The note attached, in Carl's handwriting, reads, "The game ends where it started. The lady's heart sinks with the tide." Jessica's mind races. The game started at the docks, with the first note on her doorstep. The tide's mention points back to Pier 12, where the Red Rose is docked. Is Carl planning a final move there? She shows Amos the ledger, her voice urgent. Carl's been manipulating Lila for years, using her to get to Evelyn and Tom. He's going back to Pier 12. Amos radios for more backup. But a loud bang echoes from the warehouse's far end. Metal door slamming. Jessica's flashlight catches a shadow darting between boats, a figure in a dark coat. Not red, but holding a gold-banded lighter. Carl. She shouts, but he's gone, slipping into the maze of boats. Amos and the deputies give chase, but Jessica's drawn to a small box on the desk, engraved with a snake. Inside is a key, identical to the one from the lighthouse, and a note. The final tide rises at midnight. Checkmate. Jessica's heart pounds. Midnight 6 hours away. The note confirms Carl's heading to Pier 12, planning something with the tide. She thinks of Tom's first disappearance, the blood on his boat, and Lila's rage. Carl's been playing a long game, using Lila as a pawn and Evelyn as bait to draw Jessica in. But why target her? Her reputation as a sleuth must threaten him, exposing his secrets. She pockets the key and note, joining Amos outside. He's gone, Jess, Amos says, frustrated. But we'll lock down Pier 12. Jessica nods. But her mind's on the ledger's payments to Lila. Was Lila a willing partner or another victim? The second locket, with Lila's photo, suggests she's more than a pawn. She's central to Carl's plan as they drive to Pier 12. Jessica examines the new key, its snake engraving matching the lighter and cigarette butt. The serpents. Heart. Carl's boat must be the key to his endgame. She recalls Evelyn's words. Carl wanted revenge. Was it for the family scandal or something deeper? At the pier, the Red Rose is gone, but another boat, the Serpent's Heart, is docked in its place, rocking in the rising tide. Jessica's sure Carl's there, waiting. Most orders deputies to surround the pier, but Jessica's already moving, the key in her hand. The cabin's dark, but a faint light flickers below. A trap, or the truth she's been chasing. That's Chapter 8, and Carl's made his move, but Jessica's not out of the game. Serpent's Heart holds the final clue, and midnight's coming fast. Is Lila Carl's partner, or another victim? What's waiting on the boat? With 2 chapters. Left, the tide's turning deadly. Stick around for Chapter 9, where Jessica faces a truth that could sink her. If you're hooked, hand, I know you are. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell to catch every heart-pounding twist. Comment below. What's Carl's real motive? Is Lila still out there? Drop your theories, and let's keep this mystery rolling. The tide surges against Pier 12 in Cabot Cove, the Serpent's Heart rocking ominously in the fading mist as Jessica Fletcher steps onto the creaking dock. the snake-engraved key from Carl Weaver's boatyard clutched in her hand. Sheriff Amos. Tupper, his arm bandaged from Carl's earlier gunshot, directs deputies to surround the pier, their flashlights slicing through the dusk as midnight approaches. Jessica's bag is heavy with clues, 2 notes warning of a deadly lady, a locket with EM, an Evelyn Marsh's photo, a red rose with a lipstick smudge, a letter and photo tying Evelyn to Tom Weaver, a ring marked TC, a pearl earring, a blood-stained scarf, Evelyn's diary, a buried box with letters and a vial of red liquid, a 2015 newspaper clipping, a silver bracelet engraved LW, a gold-banded cigarette butt, a photograph of Tom bound on the red rose, a lipstick tube with a hidden note, second locket with Lila Weaver's photo, a blood-stained fishing knife, a ledger detailing Carl's payments to Lila, and a map marking Pier 12 as the Serpent's End. Carl's chilling words, "You're the real prize." Mrs. Fletcher and his escape into the water after firing at them reveal him as the mastermind, using Lila's rage to frame Evelyn and lure Jessica into his deadly game. With only one chapter left in Jessica Fletcher. Deadly Lady, the tide's rising. Jessica's one step from uncovering Carl's motive or falling into his final trap. Let's board the Serpent's heart and face the endgame. Ready? Here we go. Jessica's heart pounds as she approaches the Serpent's heart, its dark hull looming like a predator in the water. The note from Carl's boatyard, the final tide, rises at midnight. Checkmate, Mrs. Fletcher burns in her mind, a challenge she can't ignore. The snake-engraved key feels heavy, a promise of answers or danger. Amos grabs her arm, his voice low. "Jess, wait for backup." He's armed, but Jessica's instincts drive her forward. "He's expecting me, Amos," she says, her voice steady despite the fear creeping in. The deputies fan out, securing the pier, but the boat feels like a world apart, its cabin light flickering like a lure. Jessica steps aboard, the deck slick under her shoes, and uses the key to unlock the cabin door. The air inside is thick with tobacco and gasoline, a chilling echo of the boatyard fire. Her flashlight sweeps the cabin, landing on a table with a single red rose, its lipstick smudged fresh, and a chessboard set mid-game, the Black King cornered. A note pinned to the board reads, "The lady's heart sinks tonight. Can't save them all." Jessica's stomach twists. Them. Tom's. Safe. Evelyn's with medics. But Lila's still missing. And Carl's out there. She searches the cabin, finding a hidden panel behind the table. The snake key fits, revealing a small safe containing a journal and a photograph. The journal, in Carl's neat handwriting, details a decade-long plan. Payments to Lila, to fuel her vendetta against Evelyn, staged clues to mimic a murder, and a plot to break the sleuth who sees too much. Jessica's heart races. She's the sleuth, her reputation a threat to Carl's secrets. The photograph shows Carl, Lila, and a third figure, a woman, face obscured, holding a gold-banded lighter. Jessica's mind reels. A third player? Journal mentions a family debt from 2015, when Tom's affair with Evelyn cost Carl's boatyard a major contract, bankrupting him. Carl blamed Evelyn and Tom, but Jessica's sleuthing exposed his smuggling operation, hidden in the boatyard's boats. The clues, roses, lockets, blood, were meant to distract her, framing Evelyn while Carl rebuilt his empire. But Lila's role confuses her. The second locket with Lila's photo, the bracelet marked LW, and the ledger's payments suggest she's more than a pawn, she's complicit. Jessica's about to call Amos when a soft creak comes from below, a trapdoor to the boat's hold, like the one where she found Tom. Her pulse quickens. Is Lila down there, or Carl? She descends the ladder, the hold dark and flooded, water lapping at her knees. Her flashlight catches a figure slumped against the wall, Lila Weaver bound and gagged, her red coat soaked. Jessica rushes to her. Untying the ropes. "Lila, who did this?" she asks. Lila's eyes are wild, her voice hoarse. "Carl, he used me. Said we'd ruin Evelyn together, but he lied. He's going to kill us all." Jessica's heart lurches. Carl's betrayed Lila too. She helps Lila up, but the water's rising fast, the tide flooding the hold. They climb the ladder, but the trapdoor's locked, a heavy weight sealing it. Jessica's flashlight reveals a vent, like on the Red Rose, but it's too small for both to escape. "Go, Jessica," Lila whispers. "He's waiting for you." Jessica refuses to leave Lila, banging on the trapdoor and shouting for Amos. A loud thud answers.
What?
And the door flies open Amos, with deputies pulling them out. But as Jessica reaches the deck, a shadow moves at the pier's end. Carl, holding a gun, his dark coat dripping. "You're good, Mrs. Fletcher," he says, his voice cold. "But the game's mine." Amos aims his gun, but Carl's faster, firing a shot that splinters the deck near Jessica's feet. She ducks, shielding Lila, and notices a glint on the deck, a gold-banded lighter, rigged with a small explosive. Carl's planned a final trap, a fire to sink the boat with them on it. Jessica grabs the lighter, hurling it into the water where it fizzles out. Carl curses, firing again, but deputies swarm, tackling him to the pier. Jessica helps Lila to safety, her mind racing. The journal confirms Carl's smuggling, using the boatyard to traffic goods. Exposed when Jessica's earlier cases drew attention. To the docks, the deadly lady was a fiction, a way to frame Evelyn and distract from his crimes. Lila, fueled by jealousy, was his tool, but the second locket and bracelet suggest she was also a target. Jessica hands the journal to Amos, who cuffs Carl, his face twisted in defeat. "You can't stop it," Carl spits. "The serpents." "Bigger than me?" Jessica's heart skips. Serpent, the snake symbols on the lighter, the key, the cigarette butt hint at a larger network. She searches the cabin one last time, finding a hidden note under the chessboard. The serpent's head waits at the old mill. Midnight's not the end. Her blood runs cold. The old mill, a derelict site outside town, is the final piece. Amos secures Carl in the cruiser, but Jessica's focus is on the mill. The tide's peaking, but the note suggests the game's not over. Lila, trembling, confesses she planted some roses at Carl's bidding, but the neat handwriting and snake symbols were his. Jessica's sure the serpent's head is another player, watching from the shadows. Deputies clear the pier. She spots another rose dropped in the chaos, its gold band gleaming. The mastermind's caught, but the mystery's not done. That's chapter 9. And the serpent's heart nearly sank Jessica, but she's turned the tables. Carl's down, Lila's free, but a new clue points to the old mill. There's the serpent's head. Is the game really over? One chapter left? The final twist is coming. If you're hooked, and I know you are, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell to catch the explosive finale. Comment below. Who's the serpent's head? Is Lila telling the truth? Drop your theories and let's finish this mystery together. The night air bites at Jessica Fletcher's skin as she stands on Pier 12. The serpent's heart now silent behind her, its cabin a maze of clues that nearly cost her everything. Sheriff Amos Tupper, his arm bandaged from Carl Weaver's gunshot, oversees deputies hauling Carl, the boatyard owner and mastermind, into a cruiser. His smug grin gone, but his parting words, "The serpent's bigger than me," echoing ominously. Lila Weaver, shaken and freed from the boat's hold, confessed to planting roses at Carl's bidding, but a final note found under the chessboard. The serpent's head waits at the old mill. Midnight's not the end, has Jessica's heart racing. Her bag is stuffed with a trail of evidence. 2 notes warning of a deadly lady, a locket engraved EM, with Evelyn Marsh's photo, a red rose with a lipstick smudge, a letter and photo tying Evelyn to Tom Weaver, a ring marked TC, a pearl earring, it's a blood-stained scarf, Evelyn's diary, a buried box with letters, and a vial of red liquid. A 2015 newspaper clipping, a silver bracelet engraved LW, a gold-banded cigarette butt, a photograph of Tom bound on the red rose, a lipstick tube with a hidden note, a second locket with Lila's photo, a blood-stained fishing knife, a ledger detailing Carl's payments to Lila, map marking Pier 12 as the serpent's end, and a journal exposing Carl's smuggling operation. Carl used Lila's rage to frame Evelyn, targeting Jessica to silence her sleuthing. But the snake symbols on the lighter, key, and cigarette butt point to a larger network, and the old mill is the final piece. with this being the last chapter of Jessica Fletcher, Deadly Lady, the tide's at its peak. And Jessica's one step from unmasking the serpent's head or falling into its coils. Let's race to the mill and end this deadly game. Ready? Here we go. Jessica's flashlight cuts through the darkness as she and Amos speed toward the old mill. A derelict structure on the outskirts of Cabot Cove, its crumbling walls a relic of the town's fishing past, the clocks ticking midnight past. During the chaos at Pier 12, but the note's warning suggests the serpent's head is waiting now. Amos grips the steering wheel, his voice tense. This feels like another trap. Carl's in cuffs, but you heard him, someone else is out there. Jessica nods, her mind racing through the clues. Carl's journal revealed his smuggling operation, using the boatyard to traffic goods, derailed when Jessica's earlier cases drew attention to the docks. The Deadly Lady was a ruse, framing Evelyn to distract from his crimes, with Lila as his manipulated pawn. But the snake symbols and the note's mention of a serpent's head suggest a bigger player, someone Carl answered to. The target because her sleuthing threatens their empire at the mill. The air is thick with dust and the faint smell of oil, the broken windows letting in slivers of moonlight. Deputies surround the perimeter, but Jessica's focus is on the mill's main hall, where a faint glow flickers. She clutches the snake-engraved key, its weight a reminder of the locks it's opened on, the red rose, the lighthouse, the boatyard. Inside the hall is a cavern of shadows, rusted machinery looming like ghosts. Her flashlight lands on a table. In the center, set like a stage, a red rose, a gold-banded lighter, and a single chess piece of black king toppled over. A note in neat handwriting reads, "Checkmate, Mrs. Fletcher. The serpent's head sees all." Jessica's heart pounds. This is it, the final move. But where's the serpent's head? She searches the table, finding a small locked box engraved, with a snake the key fits, revealing a dossier labeled Serpent's Network. Inside are names, dates, and transactions, a smuggling ring stretching beyond Cabot Cove. With Carl listed as a lieutenant, not the leader. One name stands out. M. Sloane, director. Jessica's breath catches. Sloane. She recalls a rumor. From the diner, a woman, Margaret Sloane, a wealthy recluse who moved to Cabot Cove years ago, linked to the fishing industry. Could she be the serpent's head?
Ow.
The dossier details payments to Carl and Lila and a plan to neutralize the sleuth Jessica. Her reputation has made her a threat, exposing their operations through her cases. Amos scans the hall, his gun drawn. I guess this place is a maze. Stay close. But a soft laugh echoes from above, chilling Jessica's spine. Sweeps the rafters, catching a figure in a dark coat, not red, but black, with a gold-banded cigarette glowing. "You're persistent, Mrs. Fletcher," a woman's voice calls. Margaret Sloane steps into the light, her sharp eyes glinting, a pistol in her hand. Carl was useful, but sloppy. You were the real challenge. Jessica's mind races. Margaret, the serpent's head orchestrated everything, the notes, the roses, the lockets too, tests Jessica, to see if she'd unravel their network. Lila and Evelyn were pawns, Tom a victim, and Carl a lieutenant who failed. Jessica keeps her voice calm, stalling. "Why me, Margaret? What's the game?" Margaret's smile is cold. "Your books, your cases, they shine a light where we don't want it. The docks, the boatyard, our business thrives in the dark. Carl thought he could handle you, but I knew better." She raises the pistol, but Jessica's ready, tossing the chess piece at Margaret's hand, startling her. Amos seizes the moment, firing a warning shot that grazes the rafter. Margaret bolts, disappearing into the mill's upper levels. Jessica and Amos give chase, deputies flooding in, their shouts echoing. Jessica's heart pounds as she climbs. A rickety staircase, her flashlight catching a trail of rose petals, Margaret's final taunt, in the mill's attic. Jessica finds a hidden room, its door marked with a snake. The key opens it, revealing a desk with monitors showing the docks, the boatyard, and even Jessica's house. Her blood runs cold. She's been watched for months. A file on the desk lists Serpent's End as a final shipment set for tonight. At Pier 12, Jessica realizes the serpent's heart wasn't just Carl's trap, it's carrying smuggled goods. Ready to sail? She grabs the file, but a shadow moves behind her. Margaret, her pistol raised. You're too late, she says, but before she can fire, Lila Weaver appears, her knife flashing. No more, Margaret! Lila screams, tackling her. Jessica ducks, shouting for Amos as the women struggle. Deputies burst in, subduing Margaret, but Lila's wounded, blood seeping from a cut on her arm. Lila collapses, sobbing. I didn't know, Jessica. Margaret used me, made me hate Evelyn, said it'd fix everything. Jessica kneels beside her, realizing Lila's bracelet and locket were planted by Margaret to deepen the ruse. Amos cuffs Margaret, who glares at Jessica. The serpent has many heads, she hisses. Jessica's mind flashes to the dossier names beyond Cabot Cove. The network's wounded but not dead. She hands the file to Amos, who calls for a raid on the serpent's heart. Later, at her house, Jessica spreads the clues on her table. The vial of red liquid tested by Sethitz, not blood but paint, a final deception. Tom and Evelyn are safe. Lila's in custody, and Margaret's arrested, but the dossier's names linger. A shadow of future threats. That's Chapter 10, the finale of Jessica Fletcher, Deadly Lady. Jessica's unmasked the serpent's head, but the network's reach haunts her. Was Margaret the true mastermind? Will the serpent strike again? Thanks for riding this thrilling wave. If you loved it, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for more mysteries. Comment below. Should Jessica chase the serpents? Network next? Who's your favorite villain? Drop your thoughts, share this video, and let's keep the suspense alive.